Good morning, students. In today's session, we'll discuss about the financing of enterprises. First, who is an entrepreneur who is ready to take up any form of risk and who is willing to start his own business is known as an entrepreneur. Now, let us see what is meant by business finance. So, business finance means it is a fund required to establish, operate business activities and in order to expand in the future. Funds are specifically required various purchase type of tangible assets such as furniture, machinery, buildings, offices, factories, or intangible assets like patents, technical expertise, and trademarks, and so on. So funds we will require in the form of various types of tangible assets. So we have two types of assets, namely tangible assets and intangible assets. Tangible assets means which we can touch and feel. Intangible assets means we can only feel, we cannot see through our own eyes. So the tangible assets like furniture, machinery, buildings, offices, factories. And in case of intangible assets like patents, technical expertise and trademarks, we try to fund through the business finance. So what is the need for financial planning? So the main purpose of financial planning, we try to determine the amount of finance that is needed by an enterprise to carry out its operations smoothly. So the determination of sources of funds, how do we determine the suitable policies for proper utilization and administration of funds? That is the need for financial planning. So the financial planning, it begins with the determination of total capital requirements. For this, the finance managers, they do the sales forecast, and if the future prospects appear to be bright and expect increase in sales, then firm needs to increase its production capacity, which means more requirement of long-term funds. So we try to, after estimating the requirement of funds, the next step of financial planning is deciding how to raise this finance. So we have to decide how to raise this finance. The main objectives of financial planning, if you see, to ensure the availability of funds wherever they are required. So the main objective of financial planning is that sufficient funds should be available in the company for different purposes and for purchase of long-term assets to meet day-to-day expenses. So to see the firm does not raise resources unnecessarily. Excess funding is as hard as inadequate or is as bad as inadequate or shortage of funds. So if there is surplus money, financial planning must invent it in the best possible means, as keeping financial resources idle is a great idea for is a great loss for an organization, if you see. So what are the sources of financing for startups? In case of startups, through personal investments. When we start a business, the first investor should be yourself, either with your own cash or with collateral on your assets. So this proves to the investors and bankers that they have a long-term commitment to your project and that you are ready to take any form of risk. Then the patient capital. This is the money loaned by a spouse, parents, family, or friends. Investors and bankers, they consider this as a patient capital, which is money that will be repaid later as your business profit increases. Then the next one is angel investor. Angels are generally wealthy individuals or retired company executive who invest directly in small firms and they owned by the others. They are often leaders in their own field, which not only contribute their experience and network of contacts, but also their technical and management knowledge. So, in exchange for risking their money, they reserve the right to supervise the company's management practices. In concrete terms, no, if you see, this often involves that is a test in the board, a test on the board of directors and an assurance of transparency. And the next one is business incubators. They provide support for new businesses in various stages of development. Commonly, the incubators, they will invite the future businesses and other fledgling companies in order to share their premises as well as their administrative, logistics, and technical resources. For example, an incubator might share the use of these laboratories to the new business, where they can develop and they can test the products more cheaply before beginning the production. So generally, the incubation phase can last up to 2 years. Once the product is released or is ready, the business usually they leave the incubator's premises to enter the individual production phase and on its own. Then the next one is government grants and subsidies. So the government agencies they provide financing such as grants and subsidies that may be available in your to your business. For example, Ducky. So the getting grants can be tough. These may be strong competition and the criteria for awards or other segment or other stringent, often stringent. So generally most grants require you to match the funds you're being given and the amount that varies greatly depends on the grant. The next one is bank loans. Bank loans are the most commonly used source of funding for small as well as medium sized businesses. In general, you should have bankers or looking for companies with a sound track record and they have excellent credit. So a good idea is not enough. It has to be tracked up with a solid business plan. Startup loans will be also typically require a personal guarantee from the entrepreneurs. Thank you.